Hey everybody, so today I'm going to be showing you how to create an easy, cheap, and affordable bin cage for hatchling snakes. Now this setup that I'm going to show you will work for all species of snakes, but particularly I'm going to be showing you how to build one for a ball python hatchling today. Now you can use this for any other species, but today I'm just going to show you for a ball python. And so I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube showing you their bin setups, but not a lot of people say where to get the bins or what kind of bins you should use. And so right here, I actually have a Ziplock tub, and you can buy these at Walmart for about $10. And this is a 6.6 gallon version. Now this is perfect for a hatchling snake. And for ball pythons, which require a higher humidity level, around 50 to 60%, a closed lid like this is much better than an open screen terrarium. And this bin also provides a lot more floor space than a 10-gallon tank, so you have more area to work with. Now, ball pythons do like having enclosed spaces. They kind of like being cramped. And so this is also the perfect size. It's not too big and not too small. And you can also customize it in a lot of different ways. And so there are bins you need to avoid. So bins that open up from the sides, that clasp like this, you want to avoid. Snakes are really strong and they can push up in the middle sides right here. Now there are ways you can get around that and use those bins, but I prefer this Ziplock bin because it has these 4 latches on the sides that are really strong. So no snake is going to be able to get out of this, especially not a baby. And so there's a few other things you're going to need for this project. You're going to need a drill with a drill bit, a couple of durable hides, some duct tape, of course, water dish, a temperature humidity gauge of your choosing, an appropriate sized heat mat, and a reliable thermostat. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so first things you want to do are add in the ventilation holes on the sides of the bin. Not on top yet, just on the sides. And so what I do, I always want to make sure my snakes are able to breathe more than they can't. So you want to drill 2 rows of holes on each side of the bin all the way around until it looks like this. This is one of my other bins. Until it has 2 rows of holes going around each side. Now if you use a relatively new drill bit, it'll cut through the bin like butter. It's really, really easy. But you want to be careful. This is plastic, so if you go too hard, it will crack. So you just want to go gentle, just like this. Yep. There's a couple other tools you can use to do this. A lot of people will use a soldering gun. I don't like to do that because it melts plastic and then you're breathing it in. But the drawback to using a drill bit is sometimes it'll leave sharp bits of plastic on the edges right here. Now this went in smooth. That's what's good about using a new drill bit. And so you can just use a sander and sand that down. But the newer the drill bit you use, the less likely you're going to have to do that. Now there are bits of plastic right here you just want to keep track of. And then for the roof of the lid, you can either drill holes in the top or just leave it closed. And so since I'm doing this for a ball python, I'm not going to do anything to the lid. This is just going to be smooth. But if you're doing this bin for a colubrid snake, you can drill holes all over the top. Now this was a bit overboard. This is when I was using a faulty temp humidity gauge, and so I was getting wrong readings and was freaking out. But you can adjust the humidity in the bin by drilling different holes on the top. Now, if you have, say, a Kenyan sand boa, they do fine in 20 to 30% humidity. So having this amount of holes on top would give you about room temperature and humidity, which is perfect for a sand boa. Okay, so next thing you want to do is get an appropriately sized heat mat for this bin. Now this is a ZoomEd heat mat rated for a 10 to 20 gallon tank. And you always want the heat pad to cover at least 1/3 of the tank. So you want a warm side and then a cool side. Now for a ball python, they need a heat spot range of around 88 to 95 degrees. And so that's why, we're going to talk about this later, it's important to have a thermostat controlling the temperature of this heat pad. And now people will use different ways to attach this heat pad to the bin. So Zoo Meds are actually sticky on the bottom, but this is an older heat pad, so it's not so sticky. But this bin is not smooth on the bottom right here. There's ridges. So you're gonna wanna use a type of tape to hold it down. Now, some people will use foil tape. As you can see, I hate foil tape, so I just kind of throw it away. I use duct tape. Now, a lot of reptile breeders use foil tape for their reptile bins and for attaching the thermostat probes to the heat mats. But what I found is that they can shock you. Now, a lot of people say that's a myth. It's not. So about a month ago, I was messing with one of my bins and I touched the foil tape. Everything was unplugged, by the way, and I got shocked and my whole finger went numb. So that was not fun. So I threw away all my foil tape off the bins right then and switched everything to duct tape. So you're just gonna wanna tape all the sides down. And you don't have to be super picky about what you do this, but I always just do a little bit on the edge right here and then put a lot on the bin. It just allows you to have more sticky surface. Doing this also helps trap heat from the heat pad. Okay, and then what you're gonna wanna do is take your thermostat. This is the Jump Start thermostat. It's for growing plants, but a lot of people use it for raising up reptiles too. Sometimes it's about $20 on Amazon, sometimes it's about $30, just depends where you get it from and what time. So how thermostats work is they have a probe on the end right here. And some people will attach the probe on top and then cover that in tape. That's just fine. But I feel as though I get a more accurate reading if I actually put it inside the heat mat. So I'm gonna do that right now. So put it underneath. And you can leave that untaped or taped. I'm gonna tape it just so it doesn't fall out. Now, I'm not being too careful with the tape right here. I'm gonna undo this once I'm done. But that's how you attach the thermostat. And how the Jump Start thermostat works, you plug it into a power outlet and then you press the set button for about 4 seconds and then set the temperature up or down to what you want. So for this ball python, I'm gonna set it to about 94. Now, the Jump Start thermostat will always read a little bit higher than what the pad is actually putting out. So even though it's about 94, it'll read about 90 degrees, which I like to go right in the middle for ball pythons. Okay, so now we get to the fun part, and this is actually setting up the bin now. And so for ball pythons, what I like to use is just plain old newspaper. It's cheap, easy to clean, you get it delivered to your house, you know, they do their thing on it and you just take it out and throw it away. It's a lot easier to deal with than beddings. However, you can use aspen or beddings like Reptibark if you are still having problems with the humidity. But I find with this bin, the humidity stays right around 50 to 60%, which is perfect. So I just layer this with newspaper and fold it. And if you're wondering if this ink is toxic to reptiles, it's not. It's perfectly safe. And so once the newspaper is in there, you take your 2 hides. And so this was the side with the heat mat on it. You can put the hide right there. And then you just put the cold side wherever you want it. And now for the temperature humidity gauge, you want to put it on the side. Well, ideally you should have one on the cold side and the warm side, but for now I'm just going to use one on the warm side. Put that right there, wherever you want it, close to the snake. And then you can take your water bowl. Now, this is another way you can control the humidity in your cage. You can put it on the warm side and that will raise the humidity, but I just use it on the cold side right here. As I said, the closed top with no holes in it provides perfect humidity for ball pythons. So then you have your water dish right there. And really guys, that's all you need for a snake. They don't require much. They don't need light, all they need is heat and 2 dark hides and water. And then last but not least, you need a snake. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. I'm gonna put all the prices for this in the description box, but all in all, I think this whole setup cost me about $28, which is probably the cheapest way you can keep a snake. So like and subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I'll see you next time.